Welcome to Country Kickback, where you'll hear the latest music from performers you already know and discover new music and artists from around the world. If you have an artist you'd like us to chat with, reach out to the team at countrykickback.com, or you can watch our live videos and more by following us on social media and YouTube. Here is your host, Danny Shaw, with the latest from Country Kickback.
Hey everybody, it's that time of week again. How's everybody been? It's been a really big weekend down here. We've been to lots of different shows. We had Rayleigh and Adam Brand down here for the weekend, and there was lots of other shows in the place. There was Casey Barnes and Casey Chambers and a whole heap of others, but I still haven't caught up on my rest, so it's been a great week. Let me know what you saw, and if you were there, let me know, because it'd be great to hear from you and let me know what you thought. Tonight we've got Gordon joining us. He's from Josh Orange. We're going to have a chat to him about their single and their album. If you've got any questions, you can pop them in the comments. We've got lots of shows coming to you this week, so keep an eye out on the page for days and times. I might welcome Gordon into the room. Hi.
Hello, Danny.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm great. We're finally making it work.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, I'm in Sydney and you're in Tassie, so it's going
Yes.
to travel a little bit. But I can hear you fine. You can hear me.
Wonderful. So. I can definitely hear you fine. So I haven't had you on the show before, so it's a bit exciting. I want to talk about your current album and your current singles, but tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into music, and then how Josh Orange formed.
Well, my dad is a musician, so I was kind of, I guess, born into it. I started doing. I used to go to rehearsals as a young child when he had to babysit. I'd go along, and then I became his roadie when I was about 14, and then there was always musicians around. Music was there, and I guess I got into original music when I was about 17.
17, okay.
I wrote my first song and had a little bit of success, and then when I was 24, I came over to Australia.
Wow, okay.
And music has always been a big part of everything that I do. I was in a number of bands and had a certain amount of success again, and then in 2004, myself and Andy Wass, the guitarist in Josh Orange, formed a band in Glebe in Sydney's Inner West. And
yes.
that band have just released their 4th studio album. So we don't do things in a hurry. We kind of take our time. We do it because we love the music and getting together, and if it was for anything else, we wouldn't be still doing it. So it's music to me is it's like I guess cathartic, if that's the right word. It's kind of I don't like the word hobby, because that's not the right word. Hobby is like golf.
It's more than that. Yeah, it's more than that.
It's to me, it's the kind of universal language.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone can relate to it in one way or another, can't they?
Yeah, well, I actually discovered an Aboriginal artist called Gurumul, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and there's actually a song on the new album that was written about him. It's called "I Feel Love," and obviously he sings in his native tongue. He's passed away now, so
okay.
But he was only, I think he was maybe 42 when he passed away a few years ago. But
wow, very young.
He released an album called Rokala, and it's totally in that Yolnu, which is the language that he spoke. And I used to listen to that album all the time. I had no idea what he was saying, but just the music, the feeling that I got was quite powerful.
Did you ever get to meet him?
I got to sit. I got to see his final Sydney show, and as luck would have it, I was sitting in the very front row where they added on extra seats. So I was literally maybe a meter from him. I never got to
Wow,
meet him, but I got very close to him, and it
that
was
would have
pretty
been
special.
amazing. Yeah, absolutely. It would have been. So, when you came to Australia, what was the music scene a lot different here? Do you find that a big change and hard or easier?
I felt the music scene here is very similar to the music scene in Ireland, and
Yeah.
I've kind of experienced the music scene in America as well, and in Europe. It's never really that different how the music scene works, right? Um, the process of recording and writing and
Yeah.
releasing and all the different parts that go into it is, I think, the same pretty much everywhere. So I didn't find any difference except uh, doing a tour in Australia is tough. There's a
Yes.
long ways between shows, and
Yeah.
but at the same time, I got to see Australia a number of times for free. So
Exactly. You get to go around and travel and see everything you show. That's the exciting
yeah,
part.
I did, I've seen most of Australia a few times, and it's a
Oh, wow.
beautiful country. It's I feel very lucky to live here.
Absolutely. I do too. We're in a wonderful country. So have you always lived in Sydney?
Always lived
Is
in Sydney,
Sydney? Yeah. Yeah. It's
always.
always
I have
been the
never been to
home.
Tassie, never
They haven't
been,
been down here yet.
never.
Well, it's
Can't
time we
believe
fix that. It's time we fixed.
I
It's
would love
totally
to.
different country again.
Yeah,
Totally
well,
different
heard
country.
it's very similar to Irish weather there in Tassie. It's a little
Yes,
cooler.
up and down, up and down. Today's been a bit cold, but now the sun's shining, so you never know. 4 seasons in a day. So tell us a little bit about Midnight Lights. And how Josh Orange all forms. You told us about you and the guitarist. How did you form fully and decide to release Midnight Lights?
Well, we formed fully in 2006, and we've been together ever since. So
Yes.
Midnight Lights was just a progression. It was just let's make another album. Let's get together and make another record. And Midnight Lights is funny because it's the title track, so it's the name of our current single and it's the name of our album.
Yes,
Um,
that's right.
so there's two different things, right? The track Midnight Lights is very much what I call it four to the floor, right? It's throw your arms in the air, head out to the city with your mates or whatever, let off some steam, uh,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
see how you come out the other side, right?
Love it.
That's that's Midnight Lights. That's what the song is about. I mean, there's other stuff in there if you can hear it, but that is the basic,
Yep,
of the song.
that's the yep.
The album itself, um, the album itself was really. It's funny out of our four albums, it's the one that seems to have finally kind of opened a few doors, and we've been getting
Yeah.
added to different things, which is nice. Little Miss America was the first single, and that's doing very well. It's been played. It's been played. It's just done well, and then we followed up with a second single, and then with the album we released Midnight Lights, and there's 12 songs on the album, and
Yes.
I think the kind of journey of growing up and that kind of joy and pain is really what the record's about. It's a very honest. For me as a songwriter, it's I deliberately tried to kind of not sing in the third party, not sing
Yes.
someone else's perspective. I tried to tell some stories from my own personal experience. So there's a lot of songs that I'm referencing directly to myself, and
Yourself.
that's the first time I've done that, and that was something I chose to do. I felt I had um, reached the point as a songwriter where I was comfortable to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be very, if you haven't done that before, that would be very scary and nerve-wracking, and it's gone really well for you.
It's the album's out a few weeks, and I'm getting to see and chat to you, Danny. How good is that?
It's so exciting. It's great. It's really good. Did you design the artwork for the album?
I The artwork from the album is a photograph that I took,
Is it really?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And the photograph is a mural that was painted by um, a bunch of homeless people.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and now let me get this right. There's a place in Sydney that kind of what's it called now? I can't think of the name, but they painted this mural on the wall, and the mural. I was passing, but it's down near Woolloomooloo, and I was passing by, and I took a photo of part of the mural, and um, it just kind of stayed with me. And then when it was time for the album, I kind of reached out and said, "Who could give me permission?" And basically, I was told we don't know who actually painted it. We don't
Wow.
actually know who they are. So, and I'll come back to me. Matt Talbot House is the name of the place.
Of the
Matt
place.
Talbot, yeah, Matt Talbot was a Dublin man who came from the same part of the world as me. I grew up in Dublin, and he basically became, when he died, became very renowned for the things he'd done in his life for helping people out, particularly in addiction and people that were going through difficult times. And
Yes.
the Matt Talbot House, they're starting to open them up all over the world. So the one in Sydney has a mural on the wall if you get a chance to check it out, and
Oh,
that's where the image came from.
that is really a magical story, isn't it? Have you heard anything from the people that might have painted? Haven't heard anything since releasing this?
No, I've reached out a number of times to try and get more
Hmm.
information. Um,
Hopefully they do come forward eventually.
I hope so. I'd love to know who it was that actually painted, because it's a tiny, what you're seeing there is a tiny tiny piece of an absolutely huge mural, which is, it's just
Wow.
stunning to look.
That is fantastic. What a great story, a great idea. Um, absolutely. So tell us, how can people get this album? Can they get a hug? Can they get it obviously at a lot of the regular places, but where can they get it?
We didn't we done a few hard copies mainly for radio. We do have a few hard copies left, so if you message us through the website joshorange.com, we'll get you a hard copy. But there isn't really many hard copies. The best way is the usual Spotify, YouTube, all that
Yes.
stuff. And
Or
again,
the
if you go
regular.
to our website, joshorange.com, I've tried to put up the top there. Some of the guys are pretty good at that stuff, where you can click on our Spotify or a Facebook
Yes.
or it's all
Absolutely.
there.
Yep. It's
There's
all
nice
there.
little photos,
Wonderful.
little videos, and it's all, yeah, all looks very nice.
It's very exciting. So do you have any merchandise at the moment available? Not yet.
No merchandise.
No, not at the
the, only,
moment.
the only merchandise we have is our songs at the moment. Yeah, that's it. That's
So
all we
just
got.
want to order the songs is what we've got to do. So
Gotta get hats.
I know that COVID obviously slowed you guys down and you haven't performed, but we were talking earlier, you got a gig coming up very soon. Whereabouts and what are you doing?
So we want to perform the album in its entirety and pick some
Lovely.
songs from our back catalogue. And we're going to do a show in Sydney on the Saturday, the 15th of May, which is
Wonderful.
not sold out yet. There's still
Well,
a few tickets left. I think it's getting close because of COVID. There's a limit, I
yes.
think, of 120 in the room, whereas normally you
Yeah,
can
okay.
have double that. So I think there might be maybe 20 or 30 tickets left. And again, if you go to joshorange.com, it's a Sydney show. The show's been held in Leichhardt Bowling Club, which is quite a
Okay.
cool. Okay. It's a cool little place actually. And it's got, so you can kind of have a bite to eat and sit at the table and watch a show, or go bowling out the front before if you want. Get a bit of bowling in, and then a few beers and a bit of something to eat, and come and watch us perform.
That sounds like lots of fun. Wish I could come. Now, I know that you've done a video clip for a couple of your singles. What have you got plans for video clips and more music for 2021?
Yeah, it's funny. We we kind of had an idea as to what the next single might be, and then all of a sudden the closing track on the album has started to pick up a lot of attention through streaming services. It's been added to some huge playlists, and all of a sudden there's like people in the UK and in America that are listening to this particular song. And it's called Three Words. So now we're thinking maybe we should do a video for that. We were going
Yeah.
to look at releasing a song called Straight Lines as the next single. But then a lot of people keep asking us about a song called Fade Out Alone. That
That's
should be a
interesting.
single. So
Yeah.
at the moment, with the album just being released and we've been pretty busy. We're preparing for a show, to bring that album onto stage. So I think for now we'll focus on doing the next show, get out and
Yeah.
have a play, keep our eye on what's going on, and we'd love to do a video, but not a COVID one where we can actually get out there and make a video clip.
Yeah. Absolutely. Makes it, yeah. It's
Maybe we
certainly
could
made
fast.
that hard. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Great idea.
make a video. I like that.
That's got some great venues down here we could use.
I know. I've heard all about it.
Can't believe you haven't been. Have to come, definitely. So, is obviously your website's a great place to keep an eye up on upcoming gigs and all your upcoming things. Have you got a Facebook page and YouTube? Instagram, all those? Have you got? Where can we find
Yeah,
you?
we do. We have it, and it's all there when you go to joshorange.com. Don't ask what the names of them are. I don't know. But if you go to joshorange.com, it's all there. Facebook and YouTube and all the
Yep,
rest of it. I guess, yeah, it's all there.
excellent. So jump over.
Have a listen to the album. It's a
It's
beautiful
a
album.
beautiful album.
Very proud of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what do you think it is about Three Wards, for example, that people have really related to? Has people told you what they're finding?
I have no idea. All I can say is that, so if I can say Spotify curated playlists, which are ones that Spotify own,
Yes,
to get added to one of them is virtually
it
impossible,
is.
right?
Yeah, it is.
And for some reason, I don't know why they picked Three Words, and it's and put it on a playlist called Lost in the Woods, and that had 300,000 people on their playlist. I was like,
Wow.
and then a week later, they added it to another Spotify curated playlist called "The Most Beautiful Songs in the World" with 2.3 million listeners. So that
Wow.
just sent
2.3 million.
million, yeah.
Wow.
So it's just sent the song. I think it was played 3,000 times yesterday. So for us, that's like we're a little band from Sydney. That's just mad,
2,000 times in one day.
So in one day, and like the main city that played it was London. So
Wow.
I don't
That's
know why that
interesting.
song. Yeah, I don't know why that song. Um, I mean, we got through the process, and with this album, the process for this album was very, obviously with COVID and everything, was a little different. It took
Yes,
longer than we normally get.
absolutely. Yeah.
It wasn't rushed at all. It's quite laid back, and I
Yeah.
think it comes out on the record. It's and Three Words is quite laid back as a song, and
Yeah.
it's a song just about the importance of putting some work into keeping the things that you love. So I guess we kind of, I know with on TV and all, we see this kind of picture of the world of this big, you fall in love and all of the fireworks go off and everything else, which is great. But 5 or 10 years down the line, those fireworks, something else has to happen.
Yes.
And the song talk that is really coming from that if you love something, put in the work. Don't ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't keep it. It it's probably the most important thing that you could lose, and that's where
Exactly
the
right.
song is coming from, and it seems to be resonating.
It does. I can't wait to see what you do. If you do a film clip for this song, it'll be exciting.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we get to do it.
I do too. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been absolutely a pleasure having you because I really love Midnight Lights. It's It's one of those very relaxed, easy to listen to albums. It's just, I really enjoy it. So thank you so much for joining. And for those of you watching, head over to all the socials, give them a like and a follow, and have a listen to the album if you haven't already heard it. Thank you so much for your time, Gordon. It's been great talking to you.
It's been a pleasure. Anytime. Hope to get to speak to you again soon.
Me too, very soon for the next single, definitely.
Thank you, Danny.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. It was great to see you again. We'll be back tomorrow night with another show, so we'll see you very soon.
Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed today's program. See you next time with the latest with Country Kickback.